Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this afternoon. I'm Catherine Plume, and I'm a lifelong environmentalist and a 20-year-plus resident of Washington, D.C. I'm a writer and a regular contributor to Capital Community News that includes the Hill Rag, East of the River, and the Mid-Cities publications. I'm currently the chair of the D.C. chapter of the Sierra Club. I'm really thrilled to be here this afternoon, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. So I know you're here to learn more about Here to Help DC, but what is this Here to Help DC thing? So in a nutshell, the Department of Energy and Environment, the DC Public Service Commission, the DC Sustainable Energy Utility, and the Office of the People's Counsel for DC are concerned that with so many people staying home and when we're staying home, we're using more electricity, more water, more gas, and we're faced with higher bills than we're used to paying. So this coalition is focused on helping residents deal with those increased prices and helping residents who are out of work and owners of shuttered businesses who are experiencing financial hardship. So from today's webinar, we're going to have 4 representatives from each of those agencies that I mentioned, talk about consumer protections, consumer assistance, and some relief programs that are out there and available to DC residents. So our first presenter this afternoon is Maurice Smith. He's the director of the Office of Consumer Services for the Public Service Commission of DC. And Mr. Smith has over 20 years experience in public utility regulation, and he's previously worked for the Illinois Commerce Commission. So Maurice, can you kick us off this afternoon?
I will, thank you, and welcome. Again, I am the director of the Office of Consumer Services, and our primary mission is consumer complaint resolution, engagement, and education. And I'm here to talk about some of the protections that are available through the Here to Help DC coalition. Next slide, please. Next. So one of the major protections for consumers has been the prohibition on disconnection. Early in the process of the public health emergency, the mayor, city council of DC, with advice from the Public Service Commission and other agencies, put utility disconnection prohibitions in place. Now those prohibitions are disconnections, fees, late fees are prohibited for all utilities, electric, gas, telephone, and water, until 15 days after the public health emergency ends. Now, the emergency is currently scheduled to end in October 9th, and this coalition is gearing up for some of the things that are going to be required when the prohibition ends. One of the things that we always tell consumers that contact my office is that if you're able, please continue paying your bills. This is not a moratorium on bills. It's a prohibition on disconnection, so you don't want to bill a large arrearage during the time that the public health emergency is in place. And if you're not able to pay your bill, please contact my office or the offices on this call, or get in touch with the utility themselves. There is assistance available, but you have to be proactive about this and letting us and the utility know when you're having difficulty. Next slide, please. Utility scams in any times of uncertainty, as we are all in today, the scammers, they get more active. And we've seen that, and particularly in the utility arena. So it's important for you to be vigilant and aware about these scammers when they contact you. The only thing they're trying to do is separate you from your money. And you can learn more about scams and other popular scams at our microsite on our website at fightutiliscams.com. Next slide, please. The Office of Consumer Services, one of the things that we do, service we perform to protect consumers, is our complaint resolution process. It's designed to assist consumers with complaints or questions or any issues they're having with their utility providers. Now, during this process, the typical sequence of events is that we receive the complaint from the consumer, either from calling us through our website, emails, letters, and then we initiate an investigation with the utility. They have a statutory period that they get 14 days to respond. Once we get that utility response, we consult with the consumer. Some complaints are resolved at this stage, some are not. If we can't resolve it at the complaint and response stage, then we may go to a mediation hearing, which is another service that the Office of Consumer Services provides. Next slide. And during that process, we utilize the Consumer Bill of Rights, which is a set of municipal regulations created by the Public Service Commission. It started back in 1979. It's been revised several times over the years to keep up with changes in the marketplace. The Consumer Bill of Rights provides the rights and the responsibilities for consumers and utilities in the district. It's used by our office as a framework for consumer complaint mediation and resolution. It covers a comprehensive set of topics from billing, deposits, how and when you can be disconnected. So there are some parameters around that process that are contained in the Consumer Bill of Rights, and you can see it on the website at this address below. Next slide. And finally, the Commission has recently introduced a new website. One of the things that with everybody using more electricity, being at home more, maybe there's some ways you can save money. It's called DC Power Connect, and it's with the third-party suppliers, which some of you may have heard of, but it's a way to investigate and determine if a third-party supplier, an alternative to Pepco, is available for you. So at this site, you can go in and kind of tailor the types of offers you might want to see on your bill. And then there's other information on the site as well, how to read the energy bill, how to handle third-party solicitations, and potentially how to save energy and money. And with that, I'll conclude my remarks. Thank you. Our contact number for the Office of Consumer Services is below. At any time, if you have any questions in this arena, please give our office a call. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maurice. You mentioned scams, and I'm sad and embarrassed to say that I've fallen victim to a scam in the past, and it's horrible. And DC, on the one hand, offers so many services, which we're talking about today, and yet there are these scams out there. Do you have any advice, or is there some sort of a litmus test that consumers can use to kind of figure out off the bat if this could be a scam or if this is the real deal?
Yeah, again, they get more and more devious. Scammers get more and more devious every day. One of the things that you can kind of look for is a scammer will typically deal with you in a way that you don't normally deal with your utility. So they'll call you and they may tell you either that you've overpaid or you got a credit on your bill and you need to do something immediately to kind of address the issue. So, I mean, when has Pepco or Washington Gas ever called you in that manner? Now, the phone numbers that you may see, disregard them because they can disguise the numbers. It'll come up on the caller ID. It's Pepco, but it's really just a made up or what's called a spoof number. So you really can't count on that. That's kind of their way to try to gain entry into your home. Hang up. If you have any kind of, and these are for phone scams, which are the most prevalent. If you have any kind of question or it just doesn't smell or feel right to you, hang up, call the Public Service Commission, call one of the members of this coalition to find out, or call your utility to see, hey, I just got this call and this person is saying such and such. But you just have to be careful. You have to be vigilant because they're very tricky.
Thank you. Yes, they are indeed. Okay, so our next speaker is Kinley Farmer. She's the Associate Director for the Affordability Efficiency Division under the Energy Administration of DC's Department of Energy and Environment. In her current role, Ms. Farmer is responsible for the management of the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, the Weatherization Assistance Program, the Clean Rivers Impervious Area Charge Residential Relief Program, the Emergency Residential Relief Program, and 2 lead remediation programs, the Lead Hazard Control Program and the Lead Pipe Replacement Assistance Program. I think Kinley, it goes without saying that Kinley's a pretty busy lady with all that on her plate. So I'm going to let you talk about some of these programs, Kinley.
Great. Thank you, Catherine, for that kind introduction. And thank you to our partners at the PSC, OPC, the DC Sustainable Energy Utility. We're really excited to be here today from the Department of Energy and Environment to talk about how we are here to help DC. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So DOE's mission is to improve the quality of life for the residents and natural inhabitants of the nation's capital. You can see here that this is part of our mission statement, and it encompasses kind of environmental, economic, and social goals. I'm here today to speak specifically to our utility affordability programs, as well as some programs related to lead in the environment in the district. So the first of these is one of our legacy programs. It's been around since the 1970s. It's called the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as LIHEAP. And I appreciate Catherine making it through the alphabet soup of these various programs. So I'll do my best to refrain from acronyms so that everyone can hopefully know what I'm referring to. So this program is both federally and locally funded. We provide assistance up to $1,800 on electricity or gas bills for regular benefit, and households may also qualify for additional emergency assistance up to $600. I'll mention that during the pandemic, we have adjusted our emergency policy to allow for assistance via emergency payments to accounts that have a balance of $250 or greater. Each year, the Department of Energy assists around 20,000 households in the district, which equates to about 100,000 residents. And the supervisors for this program are Denise Watson, who's located at our MLK office in Ward 8, and then Sharon Cook, who is located at our Taylor Street office. DOE is not operating in an in-person environment due to the pandemic, but you are able to apply online 24 hours a day, and we typically process those applications within 48 hours of submission. So the next kind of corollary program is called the Utility Discount Program, and this is done in partnership with the utilities as well as the PSC, and it consists of monthly discounts on utility bills. So if you have a Pepco, Washington Gas, DC Water, or Verizon Home Phone Service, you may be eligible for a discount on your monthly rate. So if you think about the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, it's kind of a direct bill credit. The difference with this, the Utility Discount Program, is it's an ongoing lower rate on your bill. If you apply for either this program or LIHEAP, we do our best to enroll you into both at the same time. So when you apply, I encourage you to please submit your Pepco, Washington Gas, and DC Water bills if you have them, so that we can enroll you in this ongoing discount. Verizon is handled by a different administrator, and you can see the 1-800 number here if you think this applies to you, and you can call them and hopefully receive a discount on your Verizon home phone service. So the next program is fairly new. We are now entering into our 3rd year of this program. So the Clean Rivers Impervious Area Charge Residential Relief Program. Some of the attendees may have noticed an increase in their water bills over the past few years, and part of that was to pay for infrastructure upgrades related to a consent decree. So this has to do with the actual stormwater infrastructure in the city. So you'll see here, CAP stands for Customer Assistance Program. So this first tier is actually falls under the Utility Discount Program. But under this residential relief program, we expanded those to even higher income tiers. So CAP 2 goes up to 80% of area median income, and CAP 3 goes all the way up to 100% of area median income. And I'll show you later what those actual income guidelines look like, just so you're aware of kind of what that, where households may fit for those various income guidelines. As we entered into, unfortunately, this COVID pandemic, we've been working to ensure that we're fully utilizing our available funds to provide emergency relief. So I think it was about in April or May, Council passed legislation that allowed us to use some of our CRIAC funding for emergency assistance. So if you have an outstanding DC water bill, you may be eligible for assistance up to $2,000 for outstanding balances. And our lead for this program is Mackenzie Matthews. Next is the weatherization program. So this is another of those kind of legacy programs that many of you may be familiar with. This is funded by the U.S. Department of Energy, and it provides cost-effective energy efficiency measures for existing residential and multifamily housing with low-income residents. So this program aligns with LIHEAP and the Utility Discount Program in terms of income guidelines, and that's at 60% state median income. Possible measures may include insulation, air sealing, base load measures, and by that I mean appliances, lighting, things like that. We also tie in a health and safety component. So you may be aware that DC code requires a CO and smoke detector in every bedroom. So if we go into a home, we ensure that we're kind of meeting those various mandates. The branch chief for this program is LaWanda Jones, and she also handles the next program that I'll describe. So if you are interested in participating in the weatherization assistance program, you must first be approved for LIHEAP, or we also have some categorically eligible households. You can call this number, 202-299-3316. The next step will be to schedule a walkthrough of your home and an energy audit. And the energy auditor will then kind of provide the homeowner with a list of recommended measures in order to make their home safer and more energy efficient. And 100% of these measures are covered under the program. Next is our emergency mechanical system program. So I will mention that this program typically runs out of money each year, but thankfully this year we were able to utilize some of the CARES Act funding, which was the emergency funding provided by Congress. And so we were able to kind of do additional cooling HVAC systems this summer. We also entered into a partnership with the Department of Aging and Community Living to provide energy efficient window ACs to households with a senior, which is defined as someone 60 years of age or older. So we're really excited about that partnership because it meant that we could continue to provide this service where historically it's often been primarily a heating HVAC program. This year we were able to do both heating and cooling. So if you're interested in participating, you can submit a red tag, which is a tag that Washington Gas will put on a furnace if it feels that it's inoperable, potential gas leak, CO leak, or something similar. If you don't have a red tag, you can also just get a contractor's estimate on company letterhead. And again, we would ask you to become income qualified through LIHEAP, which means you would also receive a bill credit. And then we will send a contractor out to review what's going on with the particular system and either do a repair or replacement of that system as needed. For more information, you can call 299-3316. So next is this division handles the income eligibility for the Solar for All program. So some of you may be familiar with this. It was part of a legislation that was passed in 2016. And the goal of Solar for All is to provide the benefits of clean and renewable energy to 100,000 low-income households. The DC Sustainable Energy Utility will cover this program in greater detail during their presentation. So for now, I'll just mention that installations can either be on site on the resident's home, or we also have an amazing and expansive community solar program. Another new program is the lead pipe replacement assistance program. So this was new as of October 1st, 2019. And again, this is one of those programs where you will see kind of an expansion of the available kind of income tiers and households that may be eligible. So there's 3 tiers. Either you will qualify for coverage of 100% of the cost to replace the lead pipes in your home, leading to your home, 80% of the cost, or 50% of the cost. And I'll describe this in further detail in the next slide, just so you're aware of exactly what I'm talking about that this program covers. So you'll see in the image on the right that this household has a lead pipe that leads from the home to the property line. And then from the point of the property line to the water main is non-lead. So this program covers specifically those homes where there's 2 types of pipe material, one of which being lead, one of which being non-lead. If you aren't sure what material the pipe is that's kind of coming from your home leading to the water main, DC Water has an amazing map at dcwater.com/lead map. You can type in your address and it will tell you the pipe materials. They also have, upon request, a water test kit if you wanted to test your water for potential lead materials. So property owners with a partial lead service line are eligible for this program, and you should visit our website and please apply. We're really excited about this program. I think in our first year, we've seen the replacement of around 100 lead service lines. So we're really excited to see that and see this improvement in public health in the district. So this is the various income tiers I was mentioning, and you'll see that there's 60% state median income, 80% area median income, and 100% area median income. The one takeaway I would encourage you to have from this slide is that highest number. So the 100% area median income for the district is currently $121,300. So if you know of a household who may be needing assistance from one of these programs, I would just suggest you keep that number in mind, because it's likely that the household could benefit from at least one of the suite of programs that I've reviewed today. I'll mention too that the updated area median income is $126,000. So as of October 1st, we'll kind of ratchet up all of our various income guidelines. So if you keep $126,000 in mind, we probably have a program that could assist you. And then this slide shows you where each of these programs falls in terms of the respective income requirements. So you'll see that all of them fall within the 60% state median income. Solar for All, the DC Water CRIAC program, and then the lead pipe replacement assistance program fall under 80% AMI, and then CRIAC and LPRAP fall under 100% area median income. And I'll mention too that you do not have to be income qualified for the lead pipe replacement program. Anyone can apply. It just means that your level of assistance would be either 0 or 50%. So this is just a quick recap of the programs that we covered today. The next slide will have my contact information, so if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And again, thank you for this opportunity to share these resources today.
Well, thank you so much, Kenley. There are some great programs here. But then we've also heard that DC government is having some budget shortfalls, and we're quickly approaching October 1 is the FY21 fiscal year. Are these programs going to continue into FY21? Do you have any information on that?
I do. So we have been working very closely with our budget office, our leadership, kind of the highest levels to ensure that we can continue the operations of all of the programs that I covered here today. Since Mayor Bowser has been in office, we have not closed our doors when it comes to energy assistance. So that's something that we're really proud of at the Department of Energy and Environment, and expect to continue that pattern.
Great. And then I'm really glad that there's this funding for lead pipe removal and abatement. The Sierra Club has worked hard on that, along with a lot of other environmental groups here in DC. Do you have a sense of how big this problem is in DC? I mean, how many households are there out there that might still have lead pipes?
So there's two kind of issues that you've captured, Catherine. One is the partial lead service lines, which is around 16,000. And then there are also actually still legacy, just lead, they're not even partial, it's just lead service lines. So one great thing about this is we've been building a partnership with DC Water, and General Manager Gaddis has said that they now have a 10-year plan to remove all lead pipes from the district. So, the Department of Energy and Environment is really excited to work with them, ensure that we can kind of, this was the starting point, but we want to continue on this path and help DC Water reach that goal of removing all lead pipes within 10 years.
That's great. That's a great goal, and I wish you all the luck in the world with that. Now we're going to move to Ben Burdick. He's the Director of Marketing and Communications at the DC Sustainable Energy Utility. He's a proud district resident since 2005, and he's been at DCSEU for more than 8 years, helping inform residents and businesses about how they can reduce their energy costs and their greenhouse gas emissions. So I look forward to hearing from you, Ben.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And thanks to all the other panelists for having the DCSU on today. Thanks for everybody for joining us to learn a little bit more about Here to Help DC. As Kathy said, the DCSU's mission is to help district residents and businesses and institutions reduce their energy use, save money, and in the process of these energy efficiency programs and renewable energy programs that we run, create green job opportunities for DC residents and reduce GHG in the process. With Here to Help DC, we wanted to be a part of this campaign because we want DC residents to be able to manage their energy bills now and emerge from the pandemic with lower energy bills for a long time. That's going to save them money for years to come, and long term reduce all of our carbon footprints. So next slide, please. So in terms of what we're doing right now to help residents during the pandemic, for opportunities for income qualified DC residents, as Kenley had mentioned, we're working closely with the DOE on Solar for All. And there are two ways you can access solar at no cost. And this is for folks who are 80% of the area median income or below. And as Kenley showed, that's about $100,000 for a family of four. There's two ways you can access Solar for All. One, you can get it directly on your roof. So if you live in a single family home and your roof is in good enough shape to hold solar, and your home is positioned in such a way that will get enough sunlight, you can actually get solar directly on your roof. And to do that, simply visit our website, dcsu.com/solarforall, and you can sign up to find out if you're eligible. The other way that you can access Solar for All is through community solar, which we've been working with developers since 2019 to develop community solar projects around the city. You'll hopefully see some of these popping up around the district. These are larger solar installations where the bill credits will eventually go to income qualified residents here in DC. If you're interested in signing up for community solar, you can go to doe.dc.gov/solarforall and sign up there. That's going to save you probably about 50% off your energy costs, about $500 per year. So it's a great opportunity. The other way we're working with DOE to help income qualified residents is through the LIHEAP program. So for several years, we've been working with the LIHEAP program to distribute energy conservation kits to LIHEAP recipients. With the LIHEAP centers closed right now, we still want people to be able to access those energy kits. So if you haven't got one before, you can either go through DOE's LIHEAP website, or you can call us directly at 202-479-2222 and request one of those kits if you're part of the LIHEAP program. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk here about some tips, tools, rebates, and more. As I mentioned, we do offer energy conservation kits as part of for LIHEAP recipients, but we also know that during the pandemic, people are having trouble getting out to stores. They may not want to go out to stores. So we wanted to bring energy efficiency to your door. So for a limited time, we're actually offering these free energy conservation kits to all district residents. For a limited time, there are a limited number of these available. So I would go ahead and request one. You can see our website there. These kits have 6 Energy Star LEDs, a smart power strip, and a low flow faucet aerator for your bathroom. So if you install all these, you can expect to save about $40 a year. And you can request one of those and get them shipped directly to your home. If for some reason we run out of these kits, the free conservation kits, we're hoping to offer these through the end of this fiscal year through September 30th. But after that, we're going to be offering them for about $10 a piece after that. So please go and request one now. I'd also encourage you to visit our website to see our lighting guide. If you're looking for the right bulb to buy to replace an old incandescent bulb or even a CFL, you can use our lighting guide to determine what's the right kind, how many lumens you need, what type of color you want the light to have. Our lighting guide can help you with that. And then we'll actually point you to a local retailer we're working with to offer LEDs as low as 95 cents a piece. And then we also offer our seasonal energy saving tips. These are all low and no cost ways you can reduce your energy costs in your home. So I'd encourage you to utilize those as well. And then finally, as part of our response to the pandemic, we wanted to make sure that when something breaks in your home, you are able to replace it with an energy efficient option. So if your refrigerator breaks down, we're actually offering increased rebates right now for appliances and HVAC that meet certain energy efficiency requirements. So I definitely encourage you to go visit our website, rebates.dcsu.com, or call us to find out more about that. So thank you very much. We are always here to help. Please call us if you ever have any questions about ways you can reduce your energy costs, easy ways you can do that. You can call us, you can email us, and then follow us on our social media. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ben. I've written a lot of stories about DCSU over the years, and I'm always impressed by the scope of programs that you all have. And I love that lighting guide. It really demystified which light I need for what part of my house and the color and how bright and all that. So that's a great tool. You mentioned a whole lot of programs, and sometimes it seems a bit overwhelming to me. But where do I get the biggest bang for my buck on me, Kathy homeowner? What would you recommend that I do as a starting place for energy efficiency in my home?
Absolutely. So what we always call the low-hanging fruit is lighting. Your home does use a lot of energy with lighting. And if you were to replace the bulbs in your 5 most used fixtures with LEDs, you can expect to save about $65 to $100 a year. They're going to last a lot longer. Some of these LEDs can last up to 25 years, so you're not going to be up on a ladder changing out light bulbs. So the maintenance the lower maintenance is a huge benefit, and they also put off less heat with hot DC summers. Hopefully this one's winding down, but with hot DC summers, they're going to put off a lot less heat, so you're going to spend a little less to cool your home. So lighting is definitely one of the easiest ways that you can go and save energy in your home. Great.
So that works if I'm a tenant or a homeowner. So that's great. Next up is we have a representative from the Office of the People's Counsel. Jean Gross-Bethel is the Consumer Outreach Specialist. She's the consumer complaint and outreach specialist with the Office of the People's Counsel. She serves as the agency's liaison to the elder community, helping to access utility services and programs. She facilitates and participates in awareness and education outreach on behalf of the OPC. So, Jean, please tell us. We look forward to your presentation.
Wonderful and or excellent job in laying out the framework for this forum, and to say I'm honored to be a part of this important and most vital discussion. As you can see, we each have and play a critical role in addressing the needs of District of Columbia utility consumers during COVID-19 and beyond. The Office of the People's Counsel, the agency for which I represent, is the utility consumer advocate. We represent you in all matters regarding gas, electric, local telephone services, and now water. We at OPC have one of the unique responsibilities of representing consumers both collectively as a body and a community and individually. In other words, not only representing the interests of the community of residential utility consumers, but also representing individuals in their utility issues and concerns. I want to talk to you first about what we've done on the collective front. We have been working to ensure that during this public health emergency that all residents have and are able to maintain what we believe are basic necessities during COVID-19, and that's gas, electric, local telephone services, and water. Before Mayor Bowser declared a public health emergency that included a stay-at-home order in mid-March, OPC was working with the D.C. Council to craft a bill creating a moratorium to protect the utility services of all district consumers from disconnection, the elimination of fees and late charges on their accounts. At the same time, OPC sought commitments from the utilities to independently cease disconnections, late fees, and the restoration of services during this crisis. I am so happy to report that each of the utility companies implemented positive relief measures. The moratorium adopted by the D.C. Council, prohibiting the disconnection of water, electric, local phone, cable, and internet services for non-payment during the public health emergency, effectively stabilized daily life in the district for over 700,000 residents. Currently, we are calling for the withdrawal of a PEPCO's current application for a rate increase and change in its rate design. And we are reviewing Washington Gas request for a $35.2 million rate increase, which would increase the average residential consumer bill by almost $13 a month. Public hearings are scheduled for September 29th and October 23rd, respectively. But to better understand how we represent you individually as residents of the District of Columbia, I would like to play this clip. Give me one moment, please. I'm sorry, I need to adjust the volume. We're having some technical difficulties. Are you all able to hear?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Stephen, can you try that again for me, please? And muting, I believe, everyone so that they can hear the video. Okay. Well, in the video, the video shared that what we do is we are your consumer advocate and we handle individual consumer complaints. As you can see from the first slide, would you mind showing the slide again for me then, Stephen? I'm not sure, but it's okay. As you can see, we help with not only disconnection, service complaints, third-party suppliers, utility bill disputes, making payment arrangements, help you with energy efficiency, consumer education, and solar resources. So we are primarily a resource service center which can help you with all matters. We do this also through our consumer education and outreach division, where we go out into the community and we share with residents information they need to know to help them save on their utility costs and utility bills. In addition, we handle consumer complaints. So if you have any issues or concerns, you can give us a call. What we do is through our representatives, and we have 5 representatives who are ready and able to aid and assist you with addressing any of your needs or concerns regarding your utilities. We work with the utility companies to see if we can resolve those complaints. If we are unable to successfully resolve on an informal hearing basis, we can actually represent you in a formal hearing, and that hearing takes place before the Public Service Commission, and in some cases we have been able to take cases as far as the D.C. Court of Appeals. So we are your consumer advocate, and with that, I'm going to turn this over to you. No, before I do that, yes, please let me share how you can reach us. Thank you. Please, you can reach us on the web. Our website is www.opc-dc.gov. You can always like us on Facebook, Twitter, and we are on all the social media outlets. But as you can see from this slide, here's our contact information, and I am open to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you, Jean. I got to say, with everything else going on right now and this pandemic going on and on, I'm pretty frustrated to hear that my electric and gas bill may increase. Can you talk about these public hearings that are coming up, and can I go and testify? Are you looking for residents to testify? How do you sign up, and are these in person or are they online? Any insight on that?
Yes. Well, thank you, Catherine. As I mentioned, yes, PEPCO has submitted an application for a change in its rate design and a rate increase along with Washington Gas. And we are encouraging consumers to become involved in the process. And by doing so, they can actually testify at the public service during their community hearings on both cases. How can an individual participate in the process? What they should do is they should contact the commission secretary at least 5 days before the hearing. So the PEPCO hearing is currently scheduled for September 29th, which means that you need to contact the Public Service Commission before September 22nd. Okay? And reference former case number 1156. And for the Washington Gas case, which is former case number 1162, and that hearing will take place on October the 23rd, you need to register before October the 15th. You can submit comments, however, on the website at the PSC, and that if you're going to submit your comments, you should submit your comments to the Commission Secretary at dc.gov. Again, commissionsecretary@dc.gov. You can always call OPC at 202-727-3071 for information and technical assistance with filing your testimony. For those individuals who would like to know more about the issues surrounding both the Pepco and the Washington Gas case, I ask you or implore you to please check our website, which is www.opc-dc.gov, and there you will find fact sheets that will give you a good synopsis of the case. We are encouraging you to become involved. Take control of your, this is another way in which you can take control of your energy consumption and energy bills. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. At this time, I want to open it up for questions from anyone. If you're watching on WebEx, put your questions in the chat. If you're on Facebook, you can put your question in the chat as well. And if we have time, I'll try to get to everyone's questions before the panelists. If you want to say who you're directing the question to, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm sure somebody can volunteer some advice here. I want to start off with, no one mentioned anything about rent or mortgage abatement programs, and I'm sure a lot of folks are interested in these as this pandemic goes on and on. Jean, do you have some insight as to where people can go for financial assistance on mortgage or rent, or anyone else?
Yes. Thank you, Catherine, for that question. As a matter of fact, I just recently learned that the federal eviction moratorium and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a temporary nationwide halt on residential evictions for non-payment of rent for qualified renters. And that is in effect from September 4th through December 31st, 2020. There are certain qualifications for that program, but it's good to know that that program is now in place. Additionally, we have a contact with the DC Housing, and I would like to recommend that if anyone is faced with possible eviction, looking for resources to help and assist them with paying their utility and their mortgage, the DC Housing Counseling Service has resources available to assist them. I'd like to even give you the name of a person whom you can contact, Mr. Ronald Carlson, and he can be reached on area code 202-667-7906. And you can always go to their website and email him on info@housing.org.
Okay. All right.
So there are funds available to assist individuals who are strapped right now with paying their rent and mortgage. And I'm just pleased to announce that we just learned of a moratorium that has been extended from September 1st through September 4th, I stand corrected, through December 31st. And please, if you give our office a call, I can provide you with more detailed information. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maurice, can you tell us, you talked about third-party utility providers. Do you know which of, I'm still in my scam mode here. How do I make sure that if I go to a third-party energy provider, like I want to get my electricity from wind source, how do I make sure that that's legitimate? The company I go to is legitimate.
First and foremost, again, we invite you to visit our DC Power Connect microsite. All the suppliers that are listed on that site are licensed by the Public Service Commission, and they've been vetted. Any offer that they post on that site, they're held to that with the consumer. So you can't, see something on our site and sign up for it, and the supplier offer you something different. This is an area that we watch constantly. Everything about third-party suppliers, the news isn't always good, but we monitor it. We bring them in. When there are problems, we talk to their regulatory and their consumer complaint personnel to get it correct. One of the goals when we have a consumer complaint involving a third-party supplier in a transaction that doesn't work favorably for the consumer, we want to make them whole. And that's what we tend to do in all of those instances. So I would say this new site is something that will be of a lot of benefit to consumers. They can be assured that if it appears on our site that it's a legitimate offer. A lot, if not most, of the third-party suppliers are legitimate entities, and they are doing business legitimately in the District of Columbia. But we want to weed out any issues and any problems, and we think this site is a good first step in that direction.
Thank you. Thank you. So Ben, I'm loving grilling you on this energy stuff. So what do you think about timers? Somebody's asking, what do you think about the use of timers in a house? Am I using more energy by making the timing function work, or is it actually going to save me some energy? And along with that, and I don't know if you're the person, is anybody doing energy audits these days, given where we are with the pandemic?
Yeah, I'll try to address a couple of these questions. So timers can be an option to reduce energy costs, especially for outdoor lights and things of that nature. But what we would say is always, if you're not using it, turn it off. I mean, that's the best way you can save energy. I also saw a question about energy vampires, which is a great one. According to NRDC, the Natural Resources Defense Council, in the U.S., there's about $19 billion of costs associated with energy vampires. That's, your auxiliary devices that you're connected to your TV that stay on or have that phantom power, your cable box, things of that nature. One thing you can do there is use a smart power strip, an advanced power strip, which is actually included in that energy conservation kit I was talking about. You can set it up so that you have a control device like your TV, that those devices will be completely off unless your control device, your TV, your computer, things of that nature are on. So that is a really great way to cut down on energy vampires. That $19 billion, by the way, translates to about $150, $160 per household. So it's significant. And then your last question was around audits. The DCSU unfortunately no longer does helps pay for audits. I do know that the Weatherization Assistance Program, WAP, under DOE does still do some auditing and weatherization.
Okay, excellent. All right. And I still get mixed up. Okay, so I'm a tenant. I live in a condo building or an apartment building, but I want to go solar, and I think this community solar idea might work for me, but can somebody explain what community solar is? Kinley, is that something you could explain a bit?
Sure, and Ben, I'll also defer to you if you want to add to this. Community solar, if you think about, we have some kind of larger swaths of land, or for example in Oxen Run or other places in the city where we put in place kind of bigger solar facilities. So these are facilities that wouldn't necessarily fit on a rooftop. Maybe they do, but the idea is you take like one of these larger facilities and then you allocate out that solar generation, the power that's being generated off of those large facilities, and then apply the energy that's created, the value of that to residential accounts. So one of the great things about this is it allows you kind of economies of scale. So instead of house by house installing solar, what we can do is create like these larger solar facilities where we're generating cleaner, more renewable energy, but then we're also ensuring that we're providing the benefits of that energy at the residential level, especially for our low-income households, which we believe, lends itself to greater affordability in the district.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. And then while I've got you there, people are asking, are there waiting lists for all this alphabet soup of programs that you talk to us about? Are some have longer waiting lists than others? Or?
So for the kind of gateway programs such as LIHEAP, the utility discount program, we accept applications on a rolling basis. LIHEAP, you are eligible for your regular benefit, and then if you meet the criteria for the emergency benefit, you can receive your regular and emergency once per fiscal year. The fiscal year in the district starts on October 1st and ends on September 30th. So if you have not received your benefit for FY20, you can apply on our website, and we accept those on a rolling basis. And then if you have already kind of maxed out on your available assistance from those programs, you can apply again after October 1st. I'll mention that our emergency HVAC program, that's the one I described as it often does run out of funds. So if you or someone you know is having issues with their furnace or heating system, I would suggest that you start calling our office sometime in October, and we'll do our best to assist you, but it typically does run out of funding. Just one quick note on that, Congress has not, finalized the FY21 appropriations for these programs. So just to be clear, we're actually operating right now where we're not sure what level of federal funding will be provided to us. So we work to ensure that we're kind of providing all these resources to our residents and trying to get them out the door as best we can.
Yeah, thank you. But that we need the rest of our stimulus money too. So we got shortchanged on that deal. Can you tell me? Okay, so DC has so many different solar programs. That's one of the things I love. I got solar panels on my house. I can do this community solar. There's solar for all. Someone is asking, do you foresee the district creating a program for another income tier beyond the existing maximum tier, whereby a homeowner would be eligible for free panels and installation in exchange for the district receiving all the tax credits? Have you thought about that?
So I can start with a response on this one. So the existing Solar for All program was created by an act of legislation. So that kind of was derived from the DC Council. I haven't heard anything about expanding those income guidelines, but I will mention that the incentives for putting solar on your home in the district are some of the highest in the country. So for every megawatt of power that you create, you can kind of register what is known as a solar renewable energy credit, and that's actually something that can be traded on an open market. And so those are currently selling for somewhere around $425 per credit. So, if you were to produce 5 megawatts of solar power, you just do 5 times 425, and that's a direct kind of cash benefit to you as a homeowner.
Okay. I'm going to ask Jean here, can you talk about any further efforts that are being made to help neighbors in need during this ongoing pandemic for paying any sort of payments, accounts in arrears, especially for those who are still out of work and have been for several months now and not clear on the way forward here? Are there any other programs that you can refer people to?
All right, thank you. That's an excellent question, Catherine. We have a multitude of resources that have been made available to us through our partnership with various social service agencies. So when individuals give us a call regarding their utility issues, then we're able to put together or put together a packaging that can help to assist them in alleviating their financial burden. One of the things that we like to do, though, is we like to say, let's start with first, what can you do to help alleviate your burden? And I like to say the first thing individuals can do is to be a good citizen. And by that, what I mean is to be mindful when it comes to your utilities. Just be mindful. First of all, open up your bills, learn how to read them, and verify the accuracy of them. You know, and in the words of former Congressman John Lewis, if you see something, say something. Give us a call if it does not look right, if you don't understand it. That's the first step, you know. And then in that same spirit of being mindful regarding your utilities, take every measure possible to reduce your energy consumption. You have heard individuals today have presented on the multitude of programs that are made available to help reduce their energy consumption. There are programs that are available. I think that Kelly has laid out the most, the greatest of programs that are offered to individuals and the community as a whole. And talking about solar for all, weatherizations, and so forth. But then individually, what consumers can do, again, is employ simply energy efficiency or conservation measures in their daily lives. And by that, what do I mean? You know, just simple things they can do. They can turn off the lights, unplug all unnecessary appliances when they're not in use. Those things that are known as vampires, which Ben spoke of, you know, like your toasters, your coffee makers, printers, chargers, space heaters. When you're not using those things, unplug them. Reheat small portions of food in microwaves or toaster ovens instead of using the stove, because it causes a lot of energy. When it comes to water, we haven't spoken enough about water. You know, you need to be conscious of your water, how much water you're using. So when you're brushing your teeth or washing your hands, only use the water when it's needed. Many of us have the water running continuously. Lower the temperature on the hot water heaters to save on your energy. And check for leaky and running toilets. And if they are, get them repaired immediately. I have to share this with you just to kind of bring home how important it is in these to take inventory around your home to find out where you're losing energy, where, and those things that can actually impact your energy bill. We have a senior, and as you know, many of the row homes here in the District of Columbia, they have washrooms in the basement. And so an elderly person went downstairs to check on something, and she happened to use a bathroom down there. Well, she came back up. Well, she normally receives a $35 to $40 a month bill. Well, this particular month, she received a bill in excess of $600, and she started screaming. What's going on? What's going on? Something's wrong with my bill. Something's wrong with my bill. So what we did, as I mentioned, the Office of the People's Counsel, we now have the water division. So we're able to assist individuals when they have complaints regarding water. We did an investigation, and we recommended a water audit be conducted. And what we found was that her toilet was running. So when she went downstairs, and because she was elderly and seldomly go downstairs into the basement, she didn't realize that toilet was running. And it had a huge negative impact on her bill. We were successful in getting her some relief, not all, but some relief. So I just want to say, you know, there are things that individuals can do to help reduce their energy consumption. We at the Office of the People's Counsel, we act proactively. We are looking to bring forth a task force that will begin to look at ways in which we can assist individuals because, as you know, very soon, we hope, this the emergency hope will be lifted, and the utility companies will come calling for their money. So I'm going to tell, I just want to drill home. Please, if you can, make some payments on your bills. Please review your bills, make payments, and then if you are in trouble, say something so that we can help you do something. There are a lot of resources available, and the Office of the People's Counsel is that agency that can help to bridge and make certain that you are whole when it comes to your utilities. Okay?
All right, all for your time today. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to this webinar, all of our presenters. We're going to be sending around an email with links to this. I'm really sorry you didn't get to see the Office of the People Counsel video. I urge you to check that out. There's a link in the chat. It's quick, it's cute, and it's informative. So I hope you can tune into that. Again, thank you all for coming out today. I love this sort of, this is one of my perfect worlds where I'm learning to be green and I'm saving money. So it's a perfect combination here. So again, thank you all, and it's been a pleasure talking to you today. And I'm going to go apply for a couple of these programs and check them out. So thank you.